please subscribe. Toy box dreams tonight. Memories unlocked. Toy box dreams for life. Memories unboxed. Toy box nostalgia.
Howdy friends, and welcome back to Toy Box Nostalgia. I'm Douglas. In this video, we are going to be unboxing and reviewing and taking a super duper close look at the absolute brand new 2025 Mattel He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon collection / origins version of FAKER. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Wait till you see this cross armor. There's no buckles, and it's going to look amazing on the original He-Man that was already released in this line. The boots are more He-Man Filmation looking than He-Man's. What's up with that? I feel like Mattel kind of like went, whoops, we forgot to design boots, and just gave him the original Origins boots. That never made sense to me. He does not come with a shield or any accessory except for another head sculpt. And yeah, very awesome. And he does come with a power sword, so that's kind of cool. I mean, kind of wish he came with more stuff. Now, this is FAKER based off of the cartoon, not that original toy, so this isn't going to look like that original toy, I don't think, at all, to be honest with you. That was blue, and it had like a reel-to-reel cassette tape in his chest. When I was a kid and I was watching that show, FAKER scared the living shit out of me. Think about it, it's pretty much like a Terminator, right? It looked like a human being, it was an android machine-like thing, but the thought of like even me seeing myself coming after me to try to hurt me or kill me, I'm pretty sure that messed me up a little bit, just a little bit. But yeah, with that aside, this action figure looks beautiful. I can't wait to finally open another cartoon collection. The cross sale is incredible. I can't wait for more evil horde from the cartoon collection, especially Shadow Weaver. Please bring Shadow Weaver images out soon, Mattel. If you're new to Toy Box Nostalgia, you'd love to see more Masters of the Universe unboxing content like this show up into your YouTube newsfeed, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. It truly helps out the channel. If you're a fan of the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon, if you're a fan of the cartoon collection, or you're just a fan of Toy Box Nostalgia, please give me a thumbs up. I'd love you so much forever for it. Please drop a comment below letting me know what you think of this version of FAKER. Are you going to be picking this version up? Do you already have it? If so, I'd love to see some toy photographs, and I'd love to hear your experience on swapping parts with the original He-Man from the cartoon collection line. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, my friends. Let's just go ahead and just dive right in. Alright friends, welcome to Snake Mountain, brought to us by our good friend Lionel. So, let's take a look at this packaging. We've seen this packaging multiple times here on the channel, but this is the 40th anniversary Princess of Power throwback. As we see, there's that beautiful hologram right there, somehow part of the cardboard. I'll never understand that. This is an unpunched card, so we get to see the artwork in its complete glory. The Castle Grayskull in the background on the card really looks like that from the Club Grayskull line from Super 7, and I love that artwork. I always loved it. I'm glad it's back because look how great it looks. Flipping over to the back, speaking of artwork, we have an absolutely beautiful painting / comic book art of a scene from the show from the 1980s called The Shaping Staff from He-Man the Masters of the Universe. Again, this is unpunched, so we get to see that artwork in its full glory. We see Castle Grayskull in the background, He-Man hanging off of a ledge trying to save his own life, and then we have FAKER with his lit up glowing eyes like a Terminator trying to eradicate He-Man for Skeletor. As we see back there, he's casting spells and he's just being crazy, modernizing and celebrating the original 80s He-Man and the Masters of the Universe animated series. Says cartoon collection right here. We have our cross sale and we have Leech and Catra on the way. Can't wait to open them up here on the channel with you. Includes swappable head, love that, and also twist into powerful battle positions as we see right here. So here's the barcode in case you need it. This is definitely going to be coming to retail. I'd definitely hold off on it. Do not pay scalpers. Down here on the bottom left says Main Vietnam, Mattel empowering generations through play. So that is the packaging in its entirety. Absolutely beautiful. Let's go ahead and get him out of the packaging. Okay, so here he is in the bubble. Yeah, we definitely have some plastic bands there, and he's definitely in a squatting position, maybe just to fit the Origins blister bubble. That actually makes a lot of sense, but yeah, that's him in his blister bubble. We do have a comic book, which is brand new here on the channel. That's called Onslaught to Snake Mountain. We can see Snake Mountain up here in the back right. We see Catra. Oh, all of this looks fantastic. Look at He-Man with that big carry weapon on him. And then we have Leech. We have Catra in her cat form. That is incredible. Look at that artwork. It's beautiful. I can't wait to get Catra. Take a look at her face. First page, Slime Pit. I really hope we have a Slime Pit on the way because this is too much. I need the Slime Pit to look just like this too. Please, Mattel. I know I've been using my original Slime Pit and I've been beating the crap out of it specifically for toy photos and for montages of this stuff, but this is awesome. Look at that. Look at Hordak. We can see Triclops has been slimed and taken from the evil warriors of Snake Mountain. We have 2 Horde troopers, and look at, wow, this is just awesome. We have people that are taking turns going through the slime pit to become evildoer zombies of Hordak. We have some palace guards down here. We have some Horde wraiths. That's phenomenal. Look at that. We have Leech. We have Snake Mountain in the background. I see Mosquito up here on the top right. Hordak again. And there is... oh, look at that. This guy just went up for pre-order on Mattel Creations. And then we have Clampchamp back here. We have Tila. We have Man-at-Arms. And we have Hordak, He-Man. Look at this beautiful artwork. I remember this thing. This was a big crawling toy back in the 1980s that you could put Hordak on. There was also a giant spider, too. I loved the giant spider. I don't remember all of the exact names of everything, but look at Catra. She's amazing. Wow, that is so cool. Look at the Horde wraiths. Look at this artwork. This is a full page that definitely deserves to be a huge poster. Although it would look better with Slime Pit in it, but we could see slimed people all over the place. Look how many words they pack into these small comics. They actually, like, really think out these stories and all of this artwork. On the back here we have our cross sale. We have Leech, Faker, and Catra. Very excited to get another Leech. Alright, my friends, let's take a look at the action figure instructions. These instructions show us exactly what comes apart on the action figure. So we can remove the head, obviously. We can remove the arms at the shoulders. We can remove the hands at the wrists. We could break the action figure in half at the waist, and then we can remove the bottom lower half of the shins and the whole boots essentially at the boot cut. And again, this is just to remove and swap parts, which is encouraged by Mattel because that makes this toy line so much more fun. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and get this guy out of the bubble. Okay, let's take a look at the action figure details, my friends. Take a look at Faker's face. Holy cow, that looks awesome. He looks like a very angry He-Man. They even painted in the eyebrows, the color of the eyes, and the mouth before spraying a white light spray over each one of his eyes to make it seem like his eyes are glowing, just like in the cartoon. I love the new armor. Absolutely. We do not have those big buckles down here, which kind of look strange whenever you're trying to take a toy photograph of a toy that's supposed to be from a cartoon. You know, it doesn't really make any sense. His skin tone looks like it's a little bit lighter and has less yellow in it than the original, and we'll do a comparison later. But take a look at that bronze orange color of the bracers and the belt. It's kind of like a semi-gloss. His loincloth and his boots look like they're like a reddish brown compared to... like, it seems like there's a little more red in them as compared to the original that was released of He-Man himself. Now again, this is not He-Man, this is Faker, so he's going to look different, and that's okay. I'm just making that comparison in my head just because, well, he looks just like He-Man. He has the typical Masters of the Universe muscles, like the sculpt on the forearms and the arms. It looks just like He-Man. Even on the back, we can see the sculpt. The cross armor is completely different. This part looks like it connects like kind of at an angle, and it looks like it's like horn shaped. But anyways, I love that face. The face sculpt is just like He-Man's. It looks like it's a dead ringer except for the facial expression to He-Man, but the hair is desaturated. It's not as bright yellow. And it looks like they added more, like I said, more color into this armor, but we'll compare that here in a second. And yeah, just love everything about the sculpt, especially these boots. These boots look like He-Man's boots from the cartoon a lot more than that original release from Mattel from the Cartoon Collection version of He-Man. This is just wonderful. I love this. Let's take a look at that other head sculpt. So mine looks like it has a few blemishes. There's one on the chin right here. It's a light scratch, and then there's a scratch on his cheek, and then there's the tiniest speck of black paint right there. It almost looks like he has a mole next to his nose. And then, yeah, everything else looks great though. Razor sharp, absolutely beautiful, and is made from like a squishy vinyl material maybe, or rubber. But yeah, this is wonderful to get a new head sculpt that we can use with like Prince Adam or He-Man. So this is what the head sculpt looks like on the actual action figure right there. We could take a close look at all of this. Fantastic. Look at the hands are both in a gripping position, but we have a lot of hands that are probably the skin tone from other Origins action figures, like the big wide open hand, the slapping hand, and I don't know. I'm just hoping that Mattel releases hands, but I doubt it because I feel like the pigment they put into the plastic whenever they first create all of these, it's probably hard for them to actually match that just for that fact alone. So I really don't think we're going to have anything coming as far as that. And plus, I don't think Mattel's ever released something like that before, to my knowledge. But it looks like there's kind of a gap here on his right shoulder. It's kind of like really sticking out to me compared to the other side. Maybe that's on my other He-Man figure as well, I just never noticed it. But anyways, let's take a look at the action figure articulation, my friends. So we have that typical Masters of the Universe ball joint at the head. We can replace the head, take a look there. And it does in fact have 360-degree joystick movement, so you see right there. So we can get a good amount of tilt side to side. And then, you know, forward and back if you want to make him like stunned and it's back, or forward like he's concentrating. And then we have this type of tilt right here, and he could look up. He could look up a little. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then he looks down really well. The looking up is inhibited by the hair sculpt. As you see right there, it's hitting the back of the neck. Moving down to the arms, these are typical Masters of the Universe Origin style peg system. As we see right there, the giant peg. The peg hole that points down towards the pelvis, and we have a huge hinge on there. So what that means for us is that we're going to have a 360-degree spin, and then the arm moving, you know, in and out this way. We do not have a bicep cut, and if we move down to the elbow is on a peg, which is not removable, but also has a huge hinge, so we get that 360 spin, and we have the arm that can move in and out, up and down. So if you wanted to do, you know, like a waving hello, or like, hey, how's it going? You could do that. Right arm is exactly the same on the right side. As we see right there, the action figure does in fact break in half at the waist with that typical Masters of the Universe Origin style peg system, so that you can in fact replace parts and swap parts and have fun with that. So that means we also get a 360-degree spin right there at the waist. Moving down to the leg, we have a barbell system peg inside there. We see the two ball joints on either end and the bar that goes directly through the pelvis, connecting these together, so we get a really good amount of articulation as far as like kicking goes or running. He can move back, you know, pretty far, like back about that far. Moving down to the knee, we have a peg for the knee, which is not removable, and we do have a hinge. You can see the hinge right there. If we flip him over to the back, you can see it a lot better. And we can see the back of the bottom of the thigh is cut out so that the calf can go up into it, giving us even better range of articulation. I love that sculpt. I love the fact that they did that. They really thought that part through. Moving down to the boots, we can remove the boots as we saw in the instructions. This one says L on it, and this is the left foot of Faker. And we can see we could definitely swap parts. I definitely want to get a second set to put these boots on the He-Man action figure that was already released, just because these look far more cartoony than that original did. Moving down to the foot, we have a rocker at the foot, so if he has his legs spread apart like he's battling Skeletor, you can in fact plant both of his feet flat on the ground. And then we also have a hinge, so we can get different movement styles like this, you know, if you wanted to. Just like kicking with his heel, you know, such like that. But that is all of the articulation, my friends. Let's move on and take a look at the accessory that comes with this action figure. So we already took a look at this head. We got 2 head sculpts with this action figure, and they both look absolutely perfect to me, in my opinion. I wish his neck was a little bit longer, but you could kind of get away with making his neck look a little bit longer by not putting the head fully on the ball joint. There's enough friction right here to give him a little more neck and not have the ball joint fully in, as you see right there. You could just kind of go like this, you know, make him a little bit taller, right? This action figure looks taller than my He-Man. I'm curious to see if there is a height difference. He also comes with a very shiny, almost a little bit translucent power sword. Yeah, down here, you could take a look. You could kind of see light going directly through it. And it's very shiny and silvery looking. It looks very much like very shiny steel to me. I feel like it doesn't really match the cartoon too well. I feel like the one in the cartoon was either much longer or less wide. So that is his accessory here. The power sword looks great. He can't hold, it's not really the power sword because obviously it's Faker. And if you take a look at the hinge right there in the hand, they go into the palm on both sides. So he's not going to be able to like raise the sword and say, I have the power very well. But again, he's just Faker, so he's faking it. So this isn't, even though I said this is a power sword, it just looks like the power sword. And wow, this arm has a serious gap in it on his right side. What's going on here? The pegs are the same length. Yeah, so here's his left arm on here. I'm going to blame the peg, to be honest with you, because the gap isn't as noticeable whenever I put his left arm into his right arm socket. Okay, so I cut down some of the peg, like the edge of the peg, and I just pressed really hard with my palms together to push his arm back into the socket, but watch this. You see that? It just kind of pops right back out. So here's what he thinks about the quality of his right arm. Let's place the sword down inside of the sheath for storage on his back. You can see it fits really snug. Absolutely perfect fit and looks great. And yeah, so that is all of the articulation. That is all of the details. Let's go ahead and take the armor off completely. And here we have what looks like a typical Conan the Barbarian, right? I'm just kidding. No, so this is Faker without the armor on. So this is a close-up look right here of this armor. I absolutely love this peg system. I feel like it's superior to the buckle system that was released on the original He-Man from the cartoon collection. You see, this just kind of presses in there and is held in with friction. And then whenever you're connecting the sheath right here for the sword, you just push it on. That's it. You can see the sword does in fact go at an angle whenever you're looking at this, how it's configured on He-Man or Faker's body. He-Man's here to do a comparison of the armor. Take a look at that. So He-Man's armor is darker and has a nice shine to it. It's almost metallic compared to the bluish lighter version from Faker. I absolutely prefer this. These buckles, they will not stop like coming apart on this action figure, and it's very hard to keep this on him. If you're wondering about these hands, this is an origin style, just plain gripping hand, I think from the original He-Man release, or maybe the second release of the He-Man action figure. And then this is just the Masterverse version of He-Man's fist. Fits really well, I feel like, on these action figures. This is the Faker armor on He-Man. That's such a huge difference. Holy cow, if you ask me, this is a huge difference. Here's the boots that I was talking about before. We can see the Faker's boots are a lot more red in tone. But they actually look like they might be the same exact height also. Yeah, so I was wrong about Faker being taller. They're the exact same height, but I really, really like these boots. Okay, so here's the final form that I've created of He-Man from the Filmation cartoon. We have Faker's bottom half of his body completely. We have the Masters of the Universe origin style hand, the Masterverse fist hand, and we have the Faker armor from the cartoon collection version of Faker. And wow, this looks great. This looks this looks awesome. The skin tone, it doesn't really match up in the torso, but for some reason the legs match the torso of the cartoon collection, as you see in the lighting here. This is uber bright lighting that I have for these videos, and this looks great. The hand isn't 100%. It's a little bit dark, but I feel like that's okay. It doesn't really translate poorly in images and toy photos, and not at all in like regular lighting in my house. You can see this He-Man does not have the same gap here on his right shoulder as Faker did. Yeah, you can see that gap that's huge. What's going on there? I gotta figure out a way to fix that. Maybe I have to make the peg hole bigger, or maybe the hole around the edge here needs to be bigger. Maybe the whole ball of the shoulder isn't actually allowing the peg to snap fully in. That would actually make sense too. But that's something I'm definitely going to try to do off camera, and if I'm successful, I'll make a short about it. That's unfortunate, man. That's the only flaw that I see. I'm very, very thrilled with this action figure, minus the flaw of the arm. I think it's perfect. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's beautiful. The colors are perfect. The accessories, the boots, and the head look great on the He-Man action figure from the cartoon collection. And the armor especially is a huge upgrade if you want to buy multiple fakers and put one on He-Man. I highly recommend it. It just looks so much better. And the legs match up with the He-Man torso as we saw. I didn't want to bother with taking off the actual boots, so I just took the whole bottom half of the body and it looks great as we saw before. But this has been the Toy Box Nostalgia unboxing and review and super duper close look at the absolute brand new 2025 He-Man the Masters of the Universe cartoon collection version of FAKER. I'd love to know your favorite story of FAKER when you were a kid. Please drop that in a comment below, and if you do have toy photographs of FAKER, I'd love to see them. I don't know why, but FAKER's always the most expensive stuff whenever you go to collect vintage Masters of the Universe. I don't know why. He seems like he might be the rarest action figures always. Who is this action figure for? Honestly, fans of that original cartoon. I get it. A lot of people think these are dumbed down, watered down versions of the action figures from Origins, and I know that people have been comparing them to the Club Grayskull version, which I feel like isn't fair, to be honest with you, because they're made from a different company and they have a lot more articulation, they're taller. I feel like that's apples and oranges. This is a retail release of the Filmation characters in action figure form, and to me, I think it's brilliant. Very happy that Mattel has graced us all with this. So honestly, I feel like it's just for fans of the Filmation cartoon, and what you get out of it is a huge nostalgic hit, and whenever they're all placed together on a shelf, they create the feel that you're in the cartoon, just looking at the characters, and I love that. Thank you so much for sticking to the end, my friends, and joining me this evening for the unboxing of this action figure. I had a blast, and I can't wait to take toy photograph of it for the thumbnail. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week, and remember, collect and shoot.